So I started off this Metroid marathon with a lot of excitement, and after finishing my first Metroid game, I'm starting to wonder if I really remember how well Metroid plays.
Hideo review.
All right, that was a little bit of a somber intro. This is not going to be a hate video on Metroid. Simply revisiting a game or a series with modernized compared to kind of having that nostalgia. It's one of those cases where I just remember Metroid being better. And that's not a hate on the game at all. I enjoy Metroid. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the franchise. I was just really expecting to... I remember enjoying it more. So today we're going to be talking about Metroid Zero Mission, the very first in the 4, or now soon 5, 2D Metroid games that are out. So this is all leading up to Metroid Dread's release, where I play 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have to say, this was my first time playing Metroid Zero Mission, first of all. It was also my first time playing the first Metroid game, even though this was a remake. I played all the other ones, but I never got around to doing this one. I played Metroid on NES through the Switch Online, and I was like, nope. I made it like 3 rooms. I'm like, I'm not playing this. Controls are terrible. And a lot of people say Metroid, the original, has not aged well. So when I went to Zero Mission, I knew it was using a similar engine as Fusion, and I really love Fusion. At least I remember loving Fusion. So I was going into this with fresh eyes of like, great, this is a new Metroid experience for me. And in hindsight, I'm just like, are all the other Metroid games like this as well? And now keep in mind, I did not grow up with Metroid. I am coming at this from someone who has fallen in love with the Metroidvania formula thanks to the indies. The indie games is how I got introduced to Metroidvanias, and these are games that were designed in the last 5 years, and a lot of them were pretty damn good. After that, I got into Metroid. I went and you know, went to the source material of what is this about, and then I did all the Castlevania stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, this stuff's terrible. The hard old NES Castlevania stuff was terrible, but the Metroidvania stuff later on, Symphony of the Night and so on, was very good. But it was to understand the root of what is the Metroidvania genre. All that to say, the indies have polished off the formula quite well. So that is the context of where I am today when I am approaching Metroid. Now, getting into this game, it was really... there was a few things that already caught me off guard right off the beginning. The fact that your blaster starts off short. I can't even reach the ceiling. I can't even shoot the things on the ceiling. That's a problem in this game because there's a lot of things coming. So like Dread just filled me right away. And then everyone's like, don't worry. Just keep playing. You're going to get past pretty quick. And then we get the long beam. And then everything was fine. I could shoot at my normal range. Everything was good. Everything was within the range that I know of. So for the most part, this was a very like classic Metroid experience. So as someone who's familiar with the genre, I can't really comment too much on how everything was, you know, good or bad. It was just good. Like the music is atmospheric, is good. You got the map, you got the power-ups, you got the enemies, you got the lore. Everything is, nothing is surprising and nothing is necessarily disappointing to me. So there's that. So I can't really comment on that too much. The, like I can't get excited about the basic elements of Metroids because I just like it. I can't compare it to the original Metroid because I haven't played it, but a lot of people who have played it have told me things that just terrify me where like, so in all other Metroid games, when you get a power up, like for your arm cannon, it stays there, and then you can eventually maybe switch between your arm cannon or you stay perma upgraded. Apparently in the old OG Metroid, you had to like run around and you had to swap your arm cannon with whatever you wanted, which that just sounds blood to me. That's just disgusting. In this one, the Zero Mission, you actually get a guided map, which people were saying it was going to be very linear. Honestly, I appreciated the guiding. It wasn't too forced. Like sometimes you go on a Chozo statue and it's like, oh, you just have to go here on the map. And then it's up to you to figure out how to get there. I think having that general sense of, you know, figure out a way to get over there is not holding the hand too much. It does, it's actually quite fun. Like I think back to, again, my top awesome defining Metroidvania, which I'm always going to compare everything else to because I love it so much. It's Hollow Knight. And in Hollow Knight, you still get that sense of exploration, even though at one point the game tells you like, here are the dreamers. The dreamers are in these sections of the world. It's up to you to figure out how to get to that. And I think that is the perfect level of like objective you need in a Metroidvania of just figure out a way to go there. Because even though you know how to go there, it doesn't make it easy for you to find out how to go there, because sometimes you have to go around this way, around this way. You have to get an upgrade over here to get through that. So in a Metroidvania, having a general sense of where to go is perfectly fine with me. The iconic Metroid music was so good in this one. I don't recall the music standing out so much and being so polished, like with the thematic themes that are really like upbeat. Like for most part in most Metroid games, the music is atmospheric. It's not supposed to hype you up. It's supposed to spook you. It's supposed to give you a sense of where am I, what's happening, and that's fine. But the fact that like I was going right into this marathon into Metroid and I have like some iconic high energy music like the I'm not even gonna try. I realized as I was about to attempt that it was gonna be a mess. But the main theme of, I believe, Zeebs, you know, the one that they remixed in Smash Brothers because it actually has energy. Those themes, the nostalgia, it just felt amazing. So like going there in a classic 2D Metroid and hearing those iconic themes is just fantastic. It's like when you play Castlevania and you hear one of its iconic themes. Like, oh my goodness, I forget the words of, I forget the names of these songs, but you guys know the ones I know. The bosses, so this was one of the things that shocked me. I thought there were more bosses in Metroid, and maybe all the other Metroids, like that's normal. And maybe for those who knew about base Metroid only having 3 bosses, that's fine. I really was surprised there was only 3 like major bosses in Metroid. Sure, there's the worm bosses, and that thing gave me some trouble, but they're like mini bosses. There are 3 proper bosses, and for the most part, the first 2, you can pretty much just like spam missiles into their sweet spot and kill them. So it's, yeah, Kraid had a little bit of figuring out what to do. Ridley, I just mashed missiles into his face. He kept grabbing me and stuff. Basically, I had enough health to just kind of power through him, which that's not how you should beat bosses, but I kind of did because that was the only thing. And then there was Mother Brain, which I think this is what takes all of Metroid down a notch. I have never experienced, I probably have, but this was so much bullshit. It was heavy. This was a terrible boss. This is the one thing I will not be apologetic for. You can love Metroid. You can be the best Metroid fan in the world, but there is no way you can come into this comment section and justify this being a good boss fight. It's just terrible. You got 2 little platforms. You're getting shot at by like 4 different directions, and it's just disgusting. And then you fall off the platform, you get punished by being like in lava. It's like draining your health. You can't jump, you can't walk, you get these little things that are shooting you. It's just too much to process. And it's not like you're building up anything. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. I don't even want to spend any more time on it. I think we can all agree. Can we all agree Metroid is a fantastic game, has great music, has great like lore. Samus is awesome, but Mother Brain in the original Metroid is just a terribly designed boss fight. Can we all agree on that? Let's not talk about it anymore. So that is one thing that was like, bleh. Also, just in general, I don't know if because there was just a lot of passion. I'm sure there's a lot of passion behind this, but I was streaming this game, and I have not streamed the other Metroid games, if I recall. Maybe I did Super Metroid when I was had a smaller audience, but there was a lot of criticism on my gameplay on Metroid, like a lot of negative criticism of, what are you doing? Go over here. Oh, you're not doing it right. Go over here. And like that, I felt came from a sense of passion of just like, you should know how to play this game better. But it was just like, oh my goodness, like let a guy figure out how to do things. Let me explore. The whole point of Metroidvania is to explore. So maybe that also impacted my taste of the game. But for the most part, the game like didn't, I think the point that I'm getting at, you know, the reason I gave you this intro that Metroid is not as good, maybe without the nostalgia goggles, is just, I didn't feel any, outside of that initial, like I'm dropping into the game and I'm getting the theme music, the music playing, and I just feel awesome. I didn't really feel any like excitement or pull into the game. And maybe that's, I can't explain exactly what did that, but I just feel like Metroid doesn't quite have that same magic maybe it used to have. And that's what got me concerned about Metroid Dread, because I'm like, you know, we're all hyped right now because we're getting a new Metroid, and it's been like 20 years since a 2D Metroid. And I'm just like, how is that going to compare with that? Is Nintendo going to be Nintendo, which it probably will, and just give us more of the same because they're very safe? Or are they actually going to like push the boundaries and give us something a little bit more satisfying. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about Metroid Dread giving us the bare minimum, like the basic Metroid experience, instead of giving us, you know, I want that experience of going from 2D Mario to Mario 64. I don't know if that's too crazy to imagine, or even like, okay, forget that. Even Mario 64 to like Mario Odyssey, same genre. I want that from Metroid Fusion to Metroid Dread, but I don't know if that's too much to ask. But right now it doesn't feel like we're going to get that. The other thing I want to talk about, two more things. The fact that they added a whole extra section of content in Metroid Zero Mission where you play as Zero Suit Samus and it's more stealth based. Oh my God, was that scary. I was running, screaming most of the time, and I didn't like it in the moment, but in hindsight, it was kind of fun. Like, it's one of the parts of the game that stood out the most because I was so vulnerable. And I realized, looking at the Metroid Dread trailers, you get chased a lot by this like undefeatable robot. So it's probably going to be very similar gameplay to that. So I'm like, that should be interesting. As long as they don't overdo it, I can deal with it. Especially I think now that I got initiated to it in Zero Mission. But man, that part was just terrifying. Like, I don't like having like a little dinky blaster and you're just like, pew, you're paralyzed, run, 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 hide. But in hindsight, like, that actually did make me have to think how to be a little bit more strategic in how to play. So I think the game was asking more of me at that point, and in hindsight, I can appreciate that more. But it also gave me, I think, the biggest sense of satisfaction when you actually regain your armor and you get all the power, and then the music changes, and now you're like, oh, I was being chased? No, no, no. Now I'm doing the chasing. And you got all your upgrades, you got all your powers, and you are just going to town on these pirates and destroying everything. That was the peak of the game. That is where I felt like at the best. And to note, though, that was added content. So if we only consider the original Metroid experience up to Mother Brain, not that great. But if you do add that Zero Mission bonus content as the core game experience, then yeah, it definitely gets a little bit better. And then lastly, I got a comment on the completionist thing. So I got really excited after I completed the game because I had a little bit of time left on stream. I think I had 2 hours left. And I was like, oh, maybe I can complete it. And then everyone's like, you can't complete this game. I was like, bet I will complete this game. And so we started like going and scavenging, and I was grabbing everything. They're like, you will never complete this because you don't know how to shine spark properly. I was like, we'll deal with it. Anything can be taught. Anything can be learned. I'll figure it out. So I'm grabbing things, and then we got to the shine sparks. And after maybe 10-15 minutes, I got the first upgrade, which requires the shine spark, like special maneuvering, where you have to run. So this is shine sparking from Ahaja. So you have to run through a very long period of game so that you get like shininess, hence shine spark. And then once you're shining, you have to run to a key point usually, and then you have to duck. And then when you duck, you contain the energy. And then you have a fraction of a second to unleash that energy in a direction, whether it be up or a diagonal, or you jump and you go somewhere. And that is shine sparking. So getting that control is really tough because you have to do a run up, you have to charge, and then you have to position, and then you have to unleash. And where it gets heavy in the bullshit. So I had hope that I could complete. And I was doing this. I even added an extra hour of to the stream to complete it and to put it into like to really win the bet and stick it to the audience who wasn't believing in me. And there were 4 power-ups left at the end, and they're like, give up, you're already stretching everything, and you know, they're just being haters. And I got to the point, which is probably the heaviest bullshit power-up ever. You have to shine spark. You have to chain shine spark. So shine spark is one thing that I think everyone here can overcome. Chain shine spark is like Capra Demon level of bullshit. So you have to, like, just to break a wall, you have to like shine spark this way, hold it, charge, go up this way, shine spark, do, 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 do. You have to like chain 6 to 7 shine sparks, not mess up, to break a wall to get your... All I have to say is I actually did not do it. And I was using save states. I was using save states to preserve my progress between each shine spark. At this point, I was pretty tired, so I'm like, I'm not going to try anymore, because if I have to do this for even with save states though, it was so meticulous and it was so difficult. I can't imagine anyone who was there on their Game Boy Advance doing it. I know some of you did that, and I have to praise you guys because you guys are pro gamers. This is why I will never be a pro gamer. That requires so much skill, so much patience, so much dedication. It's just insane to imagine anybody has actually done that. So Nintendo, you know, you can be friendly, you can reel people into your games, but you really know how to make it practically impossible to complete them. So there we are. I could probably finish this game at 100%. I'm missing 4 power-ups. It would take me maybe an hour or 2 of save state Shine Spark stuff just to get it. And we don't got time for that. We got to move on to Metroid Samus Returns because we got 3 more Metroid games to beat before Metroid Dread comes out. So I will see you in the next Metroid Journal. And until next time, keep it classy.